So hello and welcome to Clay Jarvis Guitar. In this live stream, I want to show you a great way to memorize all 5 positions of the pentatonic scale. This one simple trick really helps me, and I know it'll help you if you apply it. In my last live stream, I talked about the 5 positions of the major scale, and I would highly encourage you to watch that video after this one. I'll leave a link in the description for you for that one. When it comes to solos and improvising, knowing these 5 positions of the major scale and the pentatonic scales will give you more confidence and help you master the fretboard. I don't want to waste any of your time, so let's go ahead and get into it. If you have your guitar handy, go ahead and grab it and follow along. If you're watching this right now, then do me a favor and in the chat or the comments, let me know how long have you been playing guitar and what questions do you have about solos and improvising. Also, if you have any questions about this live stream and any of the content that I'm going to talk about, be sure and just ask the question. I'll be happy to answer questions toward the later part of this live stream. So let's go ahead and get rolling with it. I'm going to focus today on the G major pentatonic scale and the E minor pentatonic scale. But I'm going to show you how to move the scales around or move the positions around and connect the positions to where it wouldn't matter whether you're in the key of G major or if you're in the key of C major, A major, whatever. I'm going to show you how you can basically play in a major key or a minor key, and it's all going to be the same notes, same scales, same positions. And that's going to, again, give you the ability to solo up and down the fretboard in any key, which is really cool. So let's go ahead and do a quick breakdown. Before I give you the simple trick to memorizing these scale positions, let's do a quick breakdown of the G major pentatonic and the E minor pentatonic scales. So here's a real quick note first. There are only 5 positions of the pentatonic scale. So the difference in the G major pentatonic scale and the E minor pentatonic scale, it's all about which position you start from or which scale you call the first position. And I'm going to show you examples of how to look at that in both ways. It's kind of a preference really, but I have my own way of kind of looking at it that's really helped me. I'm going to share that with you as well. So I've got a PDF document that's going to show you a few things. I'll go ahead and show you just a quick glimpse of this. This is a free PDF document that I have available. It's going to be in the description of this video, and it's in the description of a lot of my videos. But basically, this is a 23-page document. It's got a lot of different things information-wise. I think it's really helpful. This is a summary of the document. This is the main part right here that we're going to talk about here in just a moment. But it's got a really cool website that I recommend going to. Just all kinds of cool stuff. So you can download this document for free, and you're going to basically join my email list. You don't have to worry about me spamming you or anything like that. If I do send out any emails, it's just going to be something, maybe letting you know about my next live stream, or it'll be something cool that you'll want to check out. But I'm not going to send an email every day trying to sell you something because, quite frankly, I don't have nothing to sell. I just want to give this away and help as many people as I can. So that is the goal. And so I want to show you just this one part of it right here before we get into showing you on guitar these scales. I want you to think about any major scale or any key is going to have a major key and it's going to have a relative minor key. So in the key of C, your 1 is your C. It's your root, for your C major. And then your A is going to be your 6th, which is your 6th note of the scale. And that's going to be your E minor. I'm sorry, your A minor. If we're in the key of G, it's going to be G major. And then E is your relative minor. D major, B is your relative minor. So that's why it's really cool to start looking at these positions. There's only 5 positions, but you're still going to be focused on whether you want to play in more of a major feel or whether you want to play in more of a minor feel. So let's go ahead and look at some guitar and let's check this out. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So basically we're going to start with our G, this note right here on our bottom, E string, our 6th string. And our pattern is just simply going to be right here. Now that was the 5 notes of the G major pentatonic scale, first position. Now what I'm going to show you real quickly is the major scale. It's 7 notes, and it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And so the difference in the G major scale versus the G major pentatonic scale is just leaving out 2 notes. In the pentatonic scale, you're leaving out the 4 and the 7. So you've got 1, 2, this is your 3, skip to your 5, then your 6, and then back to 1. So here's major, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And in the major pentatonic, we're going to leave out the 4 and leave out the 7. Right there. So I want you to really get a feel for those numbers, because it's really important to understand the scale numbers. So just think of your major scale as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Think of your major pentatonic scale as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. That's the numbers or the positions, but also think of the scale degrees, which once again is major, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. But the pentatonic is going to be 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1. And again, that's where that whole 1 to 6 has to do with your major scale or your major key. And now this is your relative minor key, which would be E minor. So once again, in our pentatonic, we've got this position. One more time. I'll get it this time. Now that was going from G to G. Of course, we can play every bit of it right here. Now if we wanted to play this same scale down here, starting with our E note, but we're going to really start with this G, but we'd be in the position of the E minor. So the E minor would be here. That'd go from E to E. But if we start from this G right here, now it's just the G major pentatonic scale. So it's all where you want to start. But again, I can play a chord progression or play solo or play over, you know, a song or whatever that's more of a G major feel, or I can play over one that's more of an E minor feel. Both of them are going to have the same notes, same position, same scales, everything. It's just going to be the difference in where you're starting and where you're calling your one. So you can look at it different ways, but we'll get into that here in just a minute. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about the other positions. I'm just going to go through real quickly. So here's your first position. Okay, remember our second is the second note of the pentatonic scale. So we're going to start here on this A. Our third is that B right there. And we're going to start here. We're going to skip to our 5. So 1, 2, 3, 5 is going to be your D. So we're going to play this D right here. And this is what this fourth position looks like. And then of course your fifth position, once again, is your sixth note. Same as your E minor down here. But if we're up here on the 12th fret, it's the same thing. I'm going to say one thing about the E minor scale. I'm not going to get into this in detail in this video, but I've got lots of videos on my channel that you could check out, and it would talk all about playing the blues and the blues scale and different things you can do with the blues, progressions and things like that. So look for those videos on my channel. But I'm going to say just real quickly, it's hard for me to play the minor pentatonic scale without throwing in that blues note. So basically the blues note is just right here. There's your blues note. Of course, I'm on the E minor pentatonic scale. There it is again. So it's real important to just kind of get a feel for that blues note. So when we start playing, and when I start playing over the backing tracks to demo some of this for you here in just a few minutes, I'm going to go ahead and be using that blues note some. So just kind of keep that in mind. And so now what is the trick really for learning all of these positions? Well, number one, it's knowing the numbers that I showed you a moment ago. That's super important. Let's go ahead and get back to my other screen here. So it's super important to know the numbers like we talked about. So whether you're talking about a major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then back to 1, or we're talking about, you know, the major pentatonic scale, and it's the 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and back to 1. And again, I showed you that on this PDF document a moment ago. But let's go ahead and also look at it. I built a PowerPoint slide. And this PowerPoint slide is going to show you a little bit more in detail what I'm talking about. So once again, the trick that I want to share with you is learning not only the major scale in 5 positions, but the pentatonic scale in 5 positions. Now, once again, your major scale is the 7 notes, and you could think of it as just your major scale in first position. So we're in the key of G. So first position, all 7 notes. That would be what that looks like right there, all 7 notes. But now, if you just played the G major pentatonic in first position, then it's just the 5 notes, and you're not playing the 4 and the 7, which is the F sharp and the C in the key of G. So it doesn't matter which position you're in. That's the first position. We'll go to the second position. It's the same thing. If this is your, starting with your A right there, that's your A Dorian mode scale pattern, which would be looking at the mode scale patterns. I'll show you that a little bit more in detail here in a minute, but basically your G major scale or your major scale is an Ionian mode scale pattern. And that's really important to understand. Just think of 1, think of major scale, and think of your Ionian mode scale pattern. And then when you go to your 2, think of your 2, and then that's a Dorian mode scale pattern starting with your 2 note, which is an A and G. So this would be like a G major scale second position, or you could call this an A Dorian mode scale pattern. Of course, you could use the G as your root note. You don't have to use the A as your root note. You can use the G. But either way, if you start from, you know, the bottom E string, your 6th string right there on that A, then you're playing that whole position right there. And that's your A Dorian mode 7 scale pattern. And you leave out the C and the F sharp, and now you've got your pentatonic scale positions that I showed you just a moment ago. So it goes on to your 3rd note, which is your B. And there again, you can see the same situation there. The B would be your Phrygian mode scale pattern. And once again, this is, you know, like the just for the G major pentatonic, it's just the third position. You can call it the G major scale. You can call it the third position as well. Doesn't matter. Or you can look at it as the mode scale pattern. Next thing is your 5. That's going to be your D. And then the next thing is going to be your 6, which is going to be your E. And again, we looked at that pretty much in detail a while ago. I'm going to go over one more time and just break down these patterns. I'm going to bring up my guitar here from a standpoint of being able to see both. Let's do that real quick here. And so let's see if we can nail this to where you can kind of see both. Maybe not. Let's go ahead and just try it and see. We've already talked about the 1 pretty much in detail. Starting on this G right here, this is the 7 notes. I missed it. There's your 7 notes. Now we're going to leave out the F sharp and the C, which is the 4 and the 7. And there it is. So now let's go ahead and go to that second position. This is going to be our A Dorian mode scale pattern, because I'm going to start from this A right here. Check this out. One more time. I'll get it right this time. Again, that's going from the A, but G is still your root note if you're in the key of G. There's your root note right there. There's your root note right there. So now let's move on to the B Phrygian mode scale pattern, starting with the B right there. One more time. One more time. And again, that's starting from the B. Once again, we can get back to where the G is. That's our root note, which is right there. And now our next position here is our 4th position, starting with the D. Here's your D Mixolydian mode scale pattern. And here is your pentatonic in the 4th position. Very similar. Once again, no C sharp, no C and no F sharp. And then we go, of course, to our 6th. And this is our E. And we can do it from the 12th fret, or we can do it from open. Doesn't matter. Let's do it from the 12th fret right here. So here it is. Now that was the E minor pentatonic scale pattern. Here is the E natural minor scale, or you can call it the E Aeolian mode scale pattern. And there you go. And then you're back to your 1 from there. So go ahead and move on to this next part right here. We kind of got the breakdown. The simple trick, once again, is just to learn these major scale positions and know that these pentatonic scale positions are in those major scale positions. It's just less 2 notes. That's the only difference. And once you learn, they're both are equally important as far as I'm concerned, to really know those major scale patterns and to really know those major pentatonic or the pentatonic scale patterns, be able to understand the difference in the minor pentatonic and the major pentatonic. I mean, all those things, in my opinion, are very, very important. And once again, I would just encourage you to, let me go ahead and get back to my other screen here. There we go. So once again, I would just encourage you to look at this diagram right here and think about what's on here. It talks about the mode. Let me go ahead and get in full screen here for you. So this talks about the modes I was just talking about. So let's just focus on the key of G. G is your 1, that's your Ionian mode scale pattern. And then A would be your 2, that's your Dorian. B is your 3, that's your Phrygian. D would be your 5, that's your Mixolydian mode scale pattern. E would be your 6, and that's your Aeolian mode scale pattern. Those are all your 7 mode scale patterns. Now, in the major scale, I'm sorry, not in the major scale, but in the major pentatonic, once again, we're just leaving out that 4, which is the C, and the 5, and the 7, which is the F sharp. It'd be the same no matter what key you're in. If you want to move all this up to the key of E, or if you want to move all this up to the key of A, you could take, instead of going from the 3rd fret right there on the bottom 6th string, you could just move up 2 frets. Now you're on A, and you could do the exact same thing. All the patterns connect the same way for you. So all that just kind of works together. So if you want to download this PDF document, what I would do would be get you to just put a comment in, whether you're looking, whether you're on the live or whether you're just, watching the replay. Just add a comment. Let me know that you did download, the free PDF, and that you do want this PowerPoint slide, because I believe this PowerPoint slide is really helpful. And what I can do is just email you directly that file, once you've basically downloaded the free PDF. So once again, I'll send this to you for free, no problem. It's a PowerPoint file that I created. It's not anything real fancy, but man, it really has helped me tremendously, and I believe it'll help you as well. So hope you will do that. And so what I really want to do now is just focus on the backing tracks, and I want to give you some examples of a couple of different backing tracks. The first one is going to be, and I'm going to have links to these in the description so you can jam to them as well. But all I'm going to do is just jam over this backing track, and it's this first one here is going to be rock pop backing track in G major. So it's going to be focused on the key of G major. And then it's got, you can see the chords. It's a G, which is your 1, a D, which is your 5. A minor is going to be your 2 chord, and then C is your 4 chord. Once again, this is focused just on the G major pentatonic scale, or you could focus it on the G major scale. But I'm just going to be playing in the G major pentatonic positions that I showed you. And then when we get to this other one here, it's going to be more of a bluesy, and it's going to be based on the key of E minor. And it's going to have the similar chords, but the E minor is going to be like the main chord of the song. And so I'm going to focus this on having the E minor as my, you can call it as my 1 chord, or you can just call it as my root position, however you want to do it. I'll show you some different ways you can kind of look at that. You can look at the E minor as your 6 of your G, or you can just look at it as, E minor in first position. So you can say, if you were looking at the G major pentatonic scale, then that's your first position. And then if you drop down to the E, which is your 6, then all that is your 5th position of the major pentatonic scale. So if you want to look at your E minor, or your E minor pentatonic scale being your first position, then it's still the same concept. It's just you're going from 1, and now here's your 2, here's your 3, 4, 5, then you're back to 6, or you're back to your 1. You want to look at it that way, but it's still the same positions same scales, same notes, same everything. You're just getting a different feel from an E minor feel or a G major pentatonic feel. So I think that's important to understand. I really like to look at it from the perspective of my 1 chord and my 6 chord. You know, basically that tells me more than it, however you want to look at it's fine, really. It doesn't matter. But for me personally, I like to look at it that way because I can really focus on my 1, my 6, my 4, my 5, my 6, so forth, so on. My 2, I'm sorry, my 2, right there. So, again, you can do it kind of however you want, so it doesn't matter. All right, let's go ahead and do some jamming here. Before I do, let's go ahead and, is there anybody out there watching live right now that you have any questions or anything at all that I can help you with? Let me know in the chat there. If there's anything that I can help you with, any questions you may have. I'm not seeing any questions. It looks like everybody's pretty much dropped off. I'm not sure if there was people there earlier. Eric Hartwell, this is a comment that he had made, this is a separate comment that he made on this video, but this same live stream, I attempted to do it on Friday night, and all the audio just was pitiful. So if you're watching right now, then I can guarantee you probably would have never made it past the first 30 seconds or a minute of the first live stream because the audio was so bad. It was just echoing and just going crazy, and it wasn't worth watching. So I deleted it, and this is my second time to do this same live stream, but I believe I've got the audio things worked out. So I hope I do. Once again, if you've been watching or if you're watching this on the replay, just let me know, how's it look? How's it sound? Any questions you may have, anything like that. Eric did put up a comment on Friday night's live stream, and he's got one right here on this one too. He says, it was not that hard to learn them all. Now I can start on whatever key I want. And that's exactly right, because you can nail down these 5 positions. Once you nail them down, you connect them all the same way. So it makes no difference what key you're in. You can slide all this stuff from, say, a G major, slide it up 2 frets to an A, slide up 3 more frets, you're at C, so forth, so on. And once you really nail these positions down, I can't stress it enough, from the major scale and the pentatonic scales, and once you add that blues note I was talking about, which I'll show you here in a minute, a little bit more of that, you've got it. I mean, the sky's the limit on what you can do, with your improvising, and just being able to have more freedom and more creativity and more confidence to be able to learn cover solos and create your own solos. Maybe you're a songwriter, and maybe you write solos, or you put stuff together for your own songs. Whatever it is, this will help you, and I totally encourage you just to get this stuff nailed down. So I'm going to go ahead and hide his comment. Thanks again, Eric, for joining me in this live stream, and for the last one too. And I appreciate you hanging out with me. I really do. So once again, anybody out there right now, if you got any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and let me know. I'm going to go ahead and jam to these backing tracks. So let's get back to here, and I'm going to change back to my guitar right here. All right, so let's go with this first backing track, and this again, I kind of explained to you what it's all about earlier, so it's a good track, man. T Guitar, they've got a lot of good backing tracks and stuff, so what I'm going to do while I'm jamming here is I am going to tell you what position I'm in and keep you kind of informed on kind of where I'm at on the fretboard. So I'm going to start out with the first position. Actually, I threw some major scale stuff in there just then. Here's the pentatonic stuff. Now let's move up to our second position. If you notice, the idea is to land on the target notes of the chords. Once again, right now, I'm probably just focusing on just the root notes of the chords. But you can kind of hear when you're hitting the right notes of the chord you're on. Now we're going to move up to the third position. Now for our fourth position. And now for our fifth position. Back to my one position up here. Maybe you heard a few times I hit that blues note I was talking about earlier. Let me know if you kind of heard that. If you could hear that blues note, let me know. It's real important to be able to play by ear and really think about not only know the positions and know the finger positions and stuff like that, but really be able to hear these notes. Every time you hit that blues note, you ought to be able to hear that, and that adds so much to your playing. So let's go ahead and move on now to the next backing track. And we're going to focus on the E minor this time, like we talked about. Starts on E minor. It's really more of an E shuffle, but the E minor is kind of the dominant chord here. So let's go ahead and jam to that and see what it sounds like. I always miss that stop. Here's our blues note. All right, so there we have it. It's a good track right there. I recommend you just going through these tracks and just having some fun with them, because ultimately everything I'm playing is just right off the top of my head. I'm not playing anything that I rehearsed or anything like that. If I played these tracks 4 or 5 more times, I'd play the different stuff. But I am staying within those notes of the chords and root notes, of the chords, and I'm keeping with the feel of whether it be the E minor pentatonic or whether it be the G major pentatonic, and that's kind of the key. And anything you're going to play is going to be, it's not like you need to learn the notes and some licks I'm doing or whatever, because you're going to do something totally different, whether it be slow or maybe faster, it doesn't really matter. But you just got to feel it. And the main thing is focus on playing by ear. I think one of the most important things is playing by ear. It's great to have all this knowledge, and it's helped me tremendously just to know that I have the confidence to play anywhere I'm going to play on the fretboard, and play in whatever key and play with whatever feel that is, whether it's a minor feel or a major feel or what bluesy feel or whatever. But at the same time, I'm really focused on my ear to be able to hit those target notes. I'm not really, analyzing everything I'm doing as I'm playing. I'm just kind of having fun, jamming, and just using what I know, and, kind of hitting the notes and trying to feel the right notes to hit, as the chords move through the chord progression. So you may take some time with this first position, like say the G major pentatonic in first position maybe, then you might just focus on that for a while. And then you might move on to the second position, move on to the third and the fourth and the fifth and whatever. And then the E minor pentatonic scale in most cases is the first scale that everybody learns when they first decide they want to start learning some lead guitar. So you may already know for sure the E minor or the minor pentatonic scale. Always remember that's the 6 of the major. So if you know that, then you already know the 5th position of the major, scale, or you can just call it, 1st position, of the minor pentatonic scale. However you want to call it, doesn't matter to me, but just remember there's only 5 positions, and you can just look at them any way you want to. As long as you know the 5 positions and you know what order they're in and you know how to connect them, makes no difference what you want to call it. It's just all about feel and all about having fun and just really just jamming, and just being just creative and trying to be the guitar player that you want to be, and just work on your own style and all those kinds of things. All that stuff's so important, but like I say, once you commit all this stuff to memory, it's just a matter of kind of the sky's the limit as where you can go with just, different ideas and things like that. So once again, let me just make sure there's no questions here. Is it Naomi? Thanks for joining me. I appreciate it very much. If you have any questions, go ahead and throw them in the chat there. I don't see any other questions as of right now. So, yeah, I hope this has been helpful for you. I really do hope you'll not only download my free PDF, be a part of my community, which I really appreciate, but subscribe to my channel, like my videos, check out some of the other videos on my channel. Go back and check out the live stream for the major scale 5 positions that I did last week. And I'm going to keep doing these live streams and keep kind of focusing on different things, but I really do hope this helps you. And I hope you'll, just continue to follow me and be a part of my community. So with that, I don't see any other questions that I can answer. So I'd like to say, just keep on rocking. I look forward to seeing you in the next video, or seeing you soon, maybe in the next live stream.